So I thought I'd explain a little bit about why I do some hormone testing with my patients. In terms of general guidance, hormone testing isn't really recommended, but I think this is doing women a disservice, quite frankly. There are certain times I don't do hormone testing. For example, just today I've seen a woman who hasn't had a period for several years. Now, I don't think in her situation it's overly helpful to do a hormone test because it's going to show very low levels of hormones. And what I actually said to her is, if it didn't show low levels of hormones, she could have my house. We didn't do a hormone test in the end, so I can keep my house. But the reason I say that is because I don't like wasting people's money and resources on unnecessary testing. Now, where I think hormone testing is quite useful is sometimes when you're in the perimenopause to just see what the balance of estrogen and progesterone is, because quite often in perimenopause you can have very high levels of estrogen, and therefore giving a woman more estrogen might make her symptoms worse. So it's useful to see the balance between estrogen and progesterone. I think testosterone testing can also be helpful in the perimenopause, because quite often it's low progesterone and low testosterone I see far before I see low estrogen levels. In terms of hormone testing for women having a cycle, I tend to look at doing a hormone test in the second half of the cycle, normally from about day 18 to 21 or 22 of the cycle. And this is because this is when you can see the biggest imbalance of hormones. All your hormones are low when you're on your period. Then around ovulation, mid-cycle, your estrogen is going to be really high and your progesterone is going to be really low. That's a normal biological cyclical change. But around the day 21, the imbalance between estrogen and progesterone could be causing some of the symptoms. For example, if the estrogen is very high and the progesterone is very low. So I find that this is useful. I also think once you start someone on hormone therapy, it's useful to monitor to make sure they're absorbing the hormones they take. And I've seen with people on bioidentical hormones and body identical hormones that they don't always absorb what they're given. And if that's the case, we can then change them to something that they could absorb better and have a better result. There could also be the chance that they're taking too many hormones and the levels are way too high to what they actually need. And we want to make sure they're on optimum levels, not too high, not too low, just right. So there's some of the reasons why I do some hormone testing. I also do other testing like checking you're actually metabolizing the hormones you're being given, especially in terms of estrogen, because we have good metabolites, bad metabolites, and neutral metabolites. And I want to make sure you're more on the good and neutral ones than the bad ones, because this is what can increase your risk of breast cancer. And you can do that on a simple urine test, which you can't get from your GP, but it's something that I like to do routinely with my patients every 1 to 2 years. As well as this, I recommend my patients have their regular mammograms and also a scan of the womb and ovaries to check for the ovarian health, as ovarian cancer presents very late. So normally when you have symptoms, it's at quite a bad stage, and also to check the lining of their womb to make sure there's no thickening. So there's some of the tests I do with my patients who are taking hormones, amongst others. And if you find this helpful, please continue to follow my page and give me a like and subscribe. Thank you.